Hey, I'm Larry Levine. I'm back again. Today we're going to talk about the First Step Act. That's this program that Trump signed back, I think it was the 21st of December, 2018. And it was designed to let the inmates out early if they took advantage of different programs and such. And the BOP has bastardized the program. They sat on it for years before they finally acted. According to an article in Forbes magazine, I believe Walt Pavlo just published, says that the BOP is finally getting some training after, 36 months, 40 months, whatever it is. I know COVID kind of held it down. But this is the rave. Everybody wants to get out early on the First Step Act. And that makes sense, but the BOP needs to figure out the time credits. That's where it kind of sucks. It sucks because people think they should be getting time. They do, they don't. They're stalled waiting to get into these classes that don't exist, and they're supposed to get some time for that. I'm not going to jump into the way the BOP does the time credits today. I'm going to talk about eligibility. It means that you can take all these courses, but you're not going to get the benefit of the First Step Act. So let's start with, let me see. God, this system is fucked up. This isn't my studio. Let's start. There we go. Thanks, guys. The crew here is a little slow. All right, so let's stop with a warrant. Start with a warrant. A warrant is also known as a detainer. And what it means is you've got outstanding charges on you somewhere. I don't care where it is, and you cannot go out into community custody because you're considered to be like a flight risk. It's like the next group of people we're going to talk about. The same thing. They have a threat to the community, and that's why they can't get out. But if you've got outstanding charges somewhere, the BOP doesn't have to give you FSA time off, because you're not leaving anyway. I mean, theoretically, they can credit you the time, but you can't leave. I know it's kind of fucked up. So you need to try to resolve this for your loved ones before you go in. If you've got, let's say, an outstanding traffic ticket or something, whatever it may be, you want to try to resolve that. And then once you enter custody, you could file a pro se motion. Means you did it yourself. You probably find somebody in the law library in one of the prisons. Hell, I lived in the law library at all the places I was at. They can do this for you. So they drop a motion and they send it out to the local court, wherever your paper is being held up at, essentially allowing you to plead guilty via the mail. You're pleading guilty, and you want them to run it concurrent with your federal sentence. So in other words, it just evaporates. One day it's there, the next day it isn't. It may take a few months, may take a few years, depending on how much time you're serving and what they give you. But the important thing is, by the time you're at the end of your sentence, you're not going to have this hanging over you. So the BOP should be required to give you that time. And again, I'm not going to talk about time off. That's a whole other ballgame. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to move into another group of people. Another group of people who, I don't know, are they eligible? Are they not? And here you go. Child pornography, kiddie porn, sexual crimes. I mean, everybody knows my feeling on this, and everybody has feelings of their own, what an adequate type of punishment should be. But it's not up to me. It's not up to you either. But the fact is, these people, they have public safety factors on them. They're considered to be a threat to the community. And they're not just going to let them go. They're not going to say, okay, you go home now, you can do whatever. It's not happening. It is not. And they're like anything sexual. Just doesn't have to be kiddie porn. Any sexual type of crime, they're going to hold you on. Now, here's a really weird thing about these child pornography cases. I had a client. He was actually, this was several years ago. It might have changed by now. This guy was out on bond for 2 years on a child pornography charge. He ended up getting 4 years. But he's out for 2 years, just out in the public. He's got his little bracelet on. He didn't even have it half the time. And they're just letting him mill around society. Well, when he got to the prison then puts him behind the fence for like a child pornography charge. You've got to go at least to a low. You're not going to a camp. That's a question I get asked all the time. Can you go to a camp? Well, I suppose you could, and maybe Jesus will come back tomorrow too. Anything's possible. But anything to do with kids, public safety factors, you're going to be behind the fence. And to that extension, excuse me, to that extension, these kiddie porn charges, sexual charges, you will not get time off for that. Not on the First Step Act, matter of fact, not on RDAP. And you people watching this, whoever you may be, I don't know, look at what RDAP says as far as 18 USC 3621E. Check out and see what RDAP says as far as who's eligible and who's not eligible. It kind of parallels it. But we've already identified if you had a warrant, you're not eligible, a detainer, kind of the same. Child pornography charges. And then I'm going to get right now to something that this is a really, really hot topic when it comes to FSA. This is concealed weapon and firearm charges. Now, you all know what a gun is. Firearm, a weapon, whatever it may be. Let's say that you just have a gun and you commit a crime, but the gun is not used in relation to the crime. The feds will charge you under 18 USC 922G. They may give you some extra time for it, but the weapon wasn't used. And that you're eligible for the First Step Act. They cannot exclude you. I don't think all the case managers and unit managers know, because these people are just a little stupid. They don't understand the law. They don't understand their jobs. And this is why a lot of shit just doesn't happen. Because these assholes are really, really, really afraid to take a position. Look, I'm slurring my words, probably because I was getting high. All right. They're afraid to take a position on behalf of anything. They don't want to let you go. And they need more training. All right, so we've talked about 18 USC 922G. Now we're going to jump into the other weapons charge. 18 USC 924C. Becomes like a crime of violence. And that's when the BOP pulls the plug on you. No, 18 USC 924C, you're not getting time off. Please do not call me. Don't bug my moderators or my admins on my groups or any of them, because you're not going to get time off with a 924C. Don't listen to people, oh, maybe this, oh, maybe that. That's bullshit. Either you got the 924C or you didn't. You can file a 2255 maybe and get it dismissed, but what's the likelihood of that? Anyway, 922G, yeah, you'll get the time off. 924C will not. All right, we're going to jump to like one last thing here. I don't know why. I seem to have a problem on the control board. Oh, here we go. What do I know? I'm borrowing. This isn't even my studio. I'm down at the network. They're letting me do some stuff. Okay, so we've got the firearm charge. Now what we're going to do is we're going to jump into other types of violence. Death investigation. Now let's say that you took a baseball bat, boom, you beat the shit out of someone, gave them brain damage, you made them dumber than they were. Something like that. You assaulted someone, you maybe kidnapped someone. These are other violent crimes, but if you cause the death, the malicious death of someone, I'm not quite sure if you DUI and it's manslaughter, but you can check that out yourself. If they can pull the time credits from you. But if you killed someone with your fists, you beat the shit out of them, you stuck a knife in them or something, however you cause them to die, well, that's going to exclude you. Now, we're going to have a link somewhere, Lynn Espejo is supposed to get this to me, that you'll be able to go and you will be able to download that. and you can read for yourself what the eligibility is. So, just to recap, if you have an outstanding detainer or warrant, you're not getting out on FSA. If you got involved and you like to touch kids and do film, movies and such, you don't get out. I think they should leave you in there forever, weld the cell door closed, but I can't talk about what I'd really like to do. All right. You have firearm charges, 922G. You had a weapon, you didn't use it in your crime, not really. They will give you time for it, but it's not a crime of violence. We get into a 924C. Now, maybe you shot somebody. Maybe you were doing a big drug deal, 10, 15, 20 keys a blow, and it was you and your 3 pals behind you. You got your 40s in one hand, you got your 12 gauge in the other. Yeah, you're going to get hit on a 924C. All right, last one, death investigation. If you killed someone in any way, shape, or form or manner, had any type of violent offense, you just screwed yourself on the First Step Act. So you need to suck it up, and we will catch you in the next video. Take care.